fresh off the end of the game's public beta. Media Molecule has announced that Dreams will be launching into early access on the PlayStation 4 this spring. The early access launch, described as Creator Early Access, will not be the full version of the game that will be up for sale at some point in the future, but instead is a limited release that the development team says will gradually see new features, tutorials, and assets added in throughout its early access period. This is especially notable since PlayStation tends to be a little wishy-washy about the presence of early access games on its platform. Dreams is far from the first Fortnite. For all its success, it's still technically an early access game, but PlayStation does not tend to add with that early access foot for titles on its platform. Unlike XBO Access Game Preview Program, Steam's early access, Media Molecule's plans for the game's early access lifespan are lightly detailed over on the PlayStation blog. There, the company says that players will be able to pick up Dreams early access for $30 in a handful of countries after it launches this spring, but notes that it is a strictly limited release, and that those limited copies are to be sold on a first-come, first-served basis. Just like with LITTLEBIGPLANET, we have always planned to evolve Dreams with the community, and this is just the start, explains the blog post. We will use early access to help us prioritize all the awesome stuff we are already working on and get feedback as player needs develop and evolve, with refinements, bug fixes and brand new features on the way we are kicking off the live service side of Dreams so the community can get the first look at how we continue to support the game. Greg Zeshek and Ran Musica, two of the original co-founders of BioWare, have been named members of the Order of Canada, and none are reserved for those deemed to have enriched the lives of others and made a difference to Canada through their actions and achievements. The duo is among 103 Canadians receiving the honor this year, alongside an author, playwright, Olympian, and broadcaster, among others. Zeshek and Musica, alongside several others, founded BioWare in Edmonton, Alberta in 1995 following their graduation from medical school. In an interview with LBA, the pair said that BioWare's early roots in Alberta helped the current industry establish its roots in the region. We did it here in Edmonton, Zeshek told LBA. We did not start it and go off somewhere else. The pair left BioWare and retired from the game industry as a whole in 2012, but remained in Canada and continue to work toward bettering their communities. It's not just what we did at BioWare, it's what we continue to do to try to make everything around this better, Zeshek told LBA. I think that's a key part of it. How we do it and how our philosophy around making a business and building businesses and working with the people, building people up. At the 2019 Game Developers Conference, you can look forward to an amazing array of talks from speakers across the video game industry. Across the week, you will hear from industry legends, niche experts, and amazing advocates, many of whom will want to learn about you and your work as much as you do theirs. During this year's advocacy track, you will get to hear a RoBLO Access Genevieve C. Johnson discuss the making of Roblox Jurassic World Educational Challenge. To introduce you to Johnson before her talk, we reached out to her for a quick Q&A. You can now read below. Would you please introduce yourself and talk about your role in game development? I am Genevieve C. Johnson, the Senior Instructional Designer at Roblox, where it's my job to empower students to learn how to code and create games on the Roblox platform, which in turn ensures we'll have more great game developers in the future. I have 10 years experience creating COURSEWA featuring a variety of game engines, 3D software such as Autodesk Maya, and programming languages. Without spoiling it, what will you be talking about at BD? Our desire to create a strong, diverse developer community led to the creation of a self-paced tutorial on how to make a game on the Roblox platform. The program resulted in over 5 million page views and more than 270,000 new games published for the platform. I will talk about why it was important to Roblox studios, how we scaffold curriculum to keep students motivated, and some of the learnings we had along the way. All of the concepts in this talk are principles I think about when creating COURSEWA for new developers of any age. For any game engine, some of them are concepts that do not get talked about enough in education, like progression curves and peak-end theory. What excites you most about the future of game development? I am excited for a future where the games industry sees more stories that are authentic to the human experience. I want game development to be just like literature and music, where the imagination and experiences of every culture and walk of life are represented. The game engines and technology we have today allow for a democratization of game development like we have never seen before, and it is my job to ensure the next generation of developers are getting the resources they need to learn, be creative, and ultimately have fun. What's something about your specific field you want your colleagues to know more about? Instructional design and game design have so many similarities. They are both about motivating people to learn new skills and keeping them motivated. Tell us about your favorite project you worked on in the last year. It was only just this past year that we launched Roblox Education. I think a lot of educators muse on how they might reach even a few more students, and I feel really lucky to be part of something that's working at such scale. The initiative has given me the chance to meet and collaborate with so many great educators and organizations around the world who are looking to empower students. This is also the first time in my career that all of my work is available for anyone to use, and at no cost. Now, I can finally show my parents what I do. Bring your team to BD. Register a group of 10 or more and save 10% on conference passes. Learn more. For more details on GDC 2019 visit the show's official website, or subscribe to regular updates via Facebook, Twitter, or Gamasutra and BD are sibling organizations under parent company Informa. Vivendi has sold the last of its stock in Ubisoft, ending a years-long saga that at one time had been Assassin's Creed. Developer concerned that a hostile takeover was imminent. Reuters reports that Vivendi has sold its final 5.9% stake in Ubisoft for $429,185 million, amounting to a capital gain of $220,248.7 million. Overall, Vivendi is no longer a Ubisoft shareholder and maintains its commitment to refrain from purchasing Ubisoft shares for a period of 5 years, said a statement from the company. Vivendi, which already owns Gamasutra, a global leader in mobile video games, confirmed its intention to continue to strengthen its position in the video game sector. A little over a year ago, Vivendi abandoned its plans to grab up enough Ubisoft shares to pursue a hostile takeover of the company and instead laid the groundwork to sell all of its shares in the company. Up until that point last March, The company had been nearing the 30% ownership mark, and would be required by French law to attempt a takeover. Ubisoft, namely the Guillemot family at the company's head, had long voiced its opposition to those plans and said that the studio's independence was critical to its ongoing success. At the 2019 Game Developers Conference, you can look forward to an array of talks from speakers across the video game industry. During the week, you will hear from industry legends, niche experts, and amazing advocates, many of whom will want to learn about your own work as much as you do theirs. During this year's Game Narrative Summit, advocate and writer and consultant Cherry Thompson will be presenting a talk on how you can better represent disabled characters in your game story. To introduce you to Thompson before their talk, we're each turned for a quick Q&A, which you can now read below. Would you please introduce yourself and talk about your role in game development?